So I'm going to answer a question that was just texted to me by a reader, a tarot reader slash psychic. And I'm going to wait till people come on to this live. I'm going to see if I can share this live. We'll see if I can share this live. They're with me. Let me see if I can find the person who asked me. Yep, there they are. I can answer this question. And I'm looking for the people who might be interested in this to share. Please share this live if you can. That would be tremendous. Okay. So I don't want to keep repeating the question, but I'm going to read it to you twice. So this reader, this psychic who had a client, here's what she said. Hi, I had a client ask me the following. Is it possible to meet your true twin flame that have an experience with a catalyst twin? Then ultimately come into union with your true twin after you've learned the lesson. What are your thoughts? I ask because so far sources I've read say it always goes catalyst, then the true twin. Are you aware any with the scenario I described? Thanks in advance. Okay, so first let me just say this. In the twin flame journey, we use the term twin flames, right? To mean many things, yes? Hi, Becca. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Share the live, guys, okay? If you can. So, again, I'm going to repeat the question. I had a client ask me the following. Is it possible to meet your true twin flame, then have experiences with a catalyst twin, then ultimately come into union with your true twin after you've learned the lesson? What are your thoughts? Every single thing in twin flame stories is possible. Then she says, I asked because so far the sources I have read say it always goes catalyst, then the true twin. Are you aware of any of the scenarios I described? Thanks in advance. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you my first-hand experience, and then we'll go with the clients I've worked with all over the world. I met my true twin flame at 18 on a beach in Miami, Florida. It was sexually connected. But we never had sex. We had the kiss. That was the bond. That was the brand. He gave me a mala, 108 bead mala, a mantra, and a directive about the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, Hinduism. I believed in reincarnation. I was a big proponent of Hinduism and vegetarianism. And then he sent me on my way for 27 years. A year later, I met my high-level soulmate. There is no catalyst twin. What there is high-level soulmates who are your beloveds. A high-level soulmate typically is this what, and I found this to be true. Now, that's not for everyone because we're not cookie cutter. We're going to have to respect this journey and stop listening to people who are trying to sell us bullshit, okay? I'm just going to be honest. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a rumor, a myth, that all you guys are going to be in union in 2024. Well, how's that going to happen if some twin flames are meant to die this year? Yeah, shocker, right? How are you going to be in union in the physical 3D? It's not happening, right? Not in 3D, it's not, right? Because they're going to drop their body. How is it happening if suddenly your twin got injured in a motorcycle accident and gets addicted to Oxycontin or whatever the hell they prescribe for pain and gets addicted, and because the addiction has them going crazy, woman, man, whoever, they start becoming very self-destructive. They feel horrible. They don't want to be around you. They don't want to listen. They're not getting downloads. They're not feeling connected to you anymore because they're addicted, and now they're having sex and addicted to more shit, and it's a rollerball. It's like a snowball that turns into a massive iceberg. People are people. The twin flame label isn't a label until it traps you into the expectation of collective content creators who really haven't. I honestly think that some of these people writing about this shit actually aren't in a twin flame at all. Because as I said before in a couple of my lives, the one with Atlantis, which please, I urge you, please go look at my stuff. It's bloody free. Do I charge for working with clients? Of course I do. Just like you charge your bosses or your clients to do work, of course. But I've created content that is right there on YouTube, on lives, where I talk about death and twin flames. I talk about Atlantis. I've gone very much into Atlantis and twin flames. I've gone, and honestly, It should have gone viral, not because of my ego. I don't give a fuck. But something like that should go, but not third party. Why are we making third party videos going viral? That's a side note rant for a minute. Excuse me, I'm back. I'm back on track. There is no catalyst twin. There is a shadow twin, and it is your twin. And I'll tell you why I know that. Because in shadow twins and twins, which means, now let's go back up with concurrent incarnations. You realize that many of us have concurrent incarnations, right? You know this, right? You know that this happens, right? That means here I am, born in France, and then a piece of me, 10, 20 years later, is born in Nigeria or Japan. You know this, right? You know that when a beloved that we love dies and we're at their deathbed, if we're lucky, we're here holding their hand while we're on the side saying, hey, welcome home. You know what it means to be a multidimensional being, right? Because that's what it means. So this idea that there's a catalyst twin, there's a catalyst karmic lover. It could be a catalyst. The word catalyst means to propel you into change, or to propel you into understanding, or to propel you into self-realization, right? It's a quick situation. And catalysts can be your mother, your father, the death of a lover or a child, God forbid. Or any of these things will propel you to new understandings about your mission, your abilities, and your connection with your twin flame. So the way we meet is different for everyone. Some of you have met your twin in 2018 and you're in your 40s. If you read half the shit out there, you're not a twin then. Because see, the stuff, I'm sorry if I sound, I'm kind of pissed, I gotta be honest, is because the shit you read is that you meet your twin when you're young. You meet your twin at 20 or in high school, and that's your twin, and that's how it works, you know? No, some of you are going to meet your twin in your 40s, in your 50s, and yes, in your 60s. And you may have crossed paths like what happened with Esther Hicks and Abraham and Jerry Hicks, if you guys know the story. But if you don't, I'm going to tell you. For 9 years, they were in 6 degrees of separation from each other. And the one that blew my mind, because for most of us, that's not a no-brainer. I'll give you my 6 degrees with my twin, personally. I'll give it to you in a minute. But for Jerry and Esther Hicks, the one that blew my mind is that they somehow were, they were so amazed at finally meeting and love and all that beautiful stuff that twin flames enjoyed. In this case, twin rays, by the way, on the side note, they're twin rays. They actually, Jerry moved out of apartment, I'm making it up, 32A at 12 noon, and Esther moved into that apartment at 3 o'clock that afternoon. They kept missing each other. They started sitting down going, holy shit, you mean this? Yeah, that too. What? And they were like exchanging notes, and the apartment story blew my mind. They weren't ready to meet, but the universe was pushing that frequency, because if you ever walked into a room, the frequency can be very palatable. Like, when a woman or a man leaves a room, the cologne is still wafting in the air hours later. Like that's how energy is as well, except obviously you don't inhale, you can't smell the scent. But it is an energy frequency. And eventually they met and they became these amazing teachers, right? That we all love, Abraham Hicks, right? And Jerry, even though he's dropped his body, is still, right, channeling with the soul, these incredible powerhouse-like beings on the other side. Is it possible to have a catalyst twin? Which, honestly, if I'm correct, what they mean is a high-level soulmate where there's still unfinished business, right? Let's look at the question again. Because they said here, let me read the question again. Is it possible to meet your true twin flame, then have experiences with a catalyst twin, then ultimately come into union with your true twin after you've learned the lesson? What are your thoughts? Everything is possible, but there's no such thing as always in a twin flame journey. In other words, when they say it always is this, that's not true. It's not true for you. It's not true for me. That all human beings have a thumb? No, some people have lost their thumbs through accidents. So to put an always label, it is always this, or else it's not that, is not fair. And I'll give you an example. Mine. So I meet my twin. I don't know he's my twin. He doesn't know we're twins. The kiss blows our minds. He's 33. Believe me, he's had action. He's 6'3". He's gorgeous. He's had women. Okay, it's not like he's clueless. And it still blows his mind. I'm 18. I've had maybe 2 men kiss me. So I know I'm not sure, but I know this is special because I can never forget it. That's the catalyst moment. This was a catalyst moment of a bond. This was the pact. I will never forget you. You will never forget me. We will meet again, but not now. I'm 18. You've given me my stuff. Now I got to go out in the world and live it. And for 27 years, I was with my high-level soulmate husband. He was not a catalyst to anything. Because I didn't learn a lot. I mean, we learned a lot from each other, but we were in the mundane world working jobs. I was not aware of numbers. I was not aware of synchronicity on that level. Did I believe in reincarnation? Did I believe in past lives? Did I believe? Yes. And my husband was remembering past lives that were mind-blowing. We were going to Sylvia Brown things. We were going to psychic fair expos. So we weren't like clueless in the 80s when we were in our 20s. But I never forgot my twin. I would go for weeks and weeks, months, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, he would pop up in my consciousness. Okay? We were in the 80s and 90s when the density of 3D planet was a real thing. And most of us were not awakened. And those of us who were awakened, many of us were working mundane job, taxi drivers, sales girl, modeling, whatever the hell we were doing, mundane jobs, right? That would keep us in and out of consciousness, if you will. And then when the 21st century portals opened, which was the beginning of many awakenings for people, the Y2K was, making people jittery and things like that were happening. And the veils were starting to collapse. 2008 was one of the massive veils. There was the harmonic conversion in the late 1980s. There was a lot of things going on, but we were being spoon-fed, almost on a drip feed, actually. And so many twin flames who met in the 1960s, 70s, 80s were not being activated yet. They were being given their papers, if you will. Here's your list. Here's what you do, and we'll meet in 20 years. Okay? This happened to many of us, by the way. And many of us, it did not happen. We're twin flames or twin rays. We're having very simple lives, and other people could see what a divine couple, the masculine and the feminine, could look like together, right? That was also happening. There's a perfect example of, I'm not going to call them high-level soulmates. I'm not, okay? These were twin rays, and that's the love couple. They were a biracial couple that met very young. They had a mundane life, what you would call mundane. I think he was a farmer. He was a white guy. She was a black woman. They met. They had biracial children. And they were fighting the laws of this country to stay married. They never divorced. They had an amazing life. Okay? Amazing, simple life. And we got to see through those lenses of the 1960s and the Jim Crow laws how love could withstand governments and laws, and how it actually, it was a catalyst to change. The catalyst, there's the word. And so we've had twin rays. We've had the experience of twin rays and twin flames for not just on this planet, but other planets. Do you get me? There is no always. There is no I'm going to meet him. Your story could be that you met your high-level soulmate and they taught you things because that was the soul contract. In some cases, you met what you guys call karmic, right? There was no soul connection. You've had many incarnations with this person, and this person is very abusive, very manipulative, narcissistic, and you meet them first, and you even have children with them until you learn self-love, right? And then the catalyst, that karmic, right, which throws you, and you could call it a twin catalyst, throws you if you want, but I won't call it that. I would call it a karmic lesson where you choose yourself. See, we got to stop throwing twin with other adjectives. It doesn't make sense to me because it's very dangerous, because then people will confuse that thinking they have a twin flame that's fucked up, another twin flame, and then there's the real twin flame. That's fucking confusing. And it's not how it works. Now, so if that's your story, then that's your story. If you don't see numbers For years after you meet your twin, that does not mean you're not a twin. It means you haven't been awakened yet to that fact. When I met my twin, when we got back in 2008 to talk, right, on the phone, and if you want, I'll tell you exactly what brought us back together, because it was very mystical. I thought he had dropped his body, actually. But anyway, we were going through, he was bereft, I was bereft, but it was still not time because I had a soul contract with my son. And so another 6 years separated us. Now, for some people, they meet their twin flame in high school. They have a baby together. Everything's hunky-dory. And in 10 years, it's time for a divorce because, unfortunately, the two twins, the twin flame couple, hasn't learned that you fall in love, you fall out in love, and that's part of life. And you make an effort to reconstruct a new relationship base because at 18, you're no longer the same person when you're 28 or 38 or 48, that you're different. So you have to progress together, or else you're going to actually have a crossroad moment where you literally split. And that happens to twin flames as well, by the way. There's so many scenarios to the twin flame journey. It's extraordinary. It's as complex and diverse as our bloodlines, as the stories you've heard throughout centuries, throughout the histories, from Napoleon to a milkmaid to whatever, to a starseed on another planet. We are very, very, very complex souls. We are multi-dimensional light beings. We meet for different reasons. We will have incarnations without our twin flame for 4, 5, 6 incarnations. They're nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Because there's things that we need to learn, and they can't be a part of it. Would you call that a catalyst twin reincarnation? Your twin's nowhere to be seen, but you meet someone that's either a high-level soulmate that says, sure, I'll be your husband, and I'll treat you like shit. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so now you'll be my husband, and you'll treat me like shit. I'll see how I grow. Oh, high-level soulmate. Hey, let's have a really good life together. Let's just have kids, raise pigs, and have a good life, right? And it goes like that. And it's really beautiful. All of it is beautiful. Sorry, I just ate and I have to get ready for another client. But my point is that I don't want you to be hijacked. I don't want your feelings, your intuitions, your downloads to be hijacked by what you read. Because here's what she wrote. See, this is the part I asked, because so far the sources I've read say that always goes catalyst, then the true twin. It doesn't. It doesn't go like that always. It's not how it goes. I just illustrated what I said to you. And when I started talking to him, the numerology started getting activated. Twofold. He told me about it, of course, but he told me about the number 9. But then suddenly I started seeing my number, which, by the way, is 518. Which is my birthday. Even though I saw it with mortal eyes, it took me another fucking 3 years to realize 518 is the area code where he was born and raised. Do you see what I'm saying? So the level of amnesia and being asleep, and it's right in front of our noses, and we can't see it until we're ready to see it because our ego, our monkey mind has been trained to distract us. And then there's Netflix, and then there's this, and then there's drama, and then there's, follow and keep up with the Kardashians and all that bullshit, right? We've been trained for a long time, for many, many incarnations, through going to Orthodox teachings and being somewhat brainwashed, all kinds of shit. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to offend anyone. But ultimately, what I'll say to you is that your story is your story. And one of the things I will say that many of us share is that you'll have telepathic communication with your twin. You will have, or what I call, oracle dreams. Lucid dreams and oracle dreams. Oracle dreams will tell you where you're at with your twin flame journey and where your twin's at. Okay? You will have physical feelings that they're having sex with someone else, and it will run through your body, and you'll actually be in a fetal position in pain. It will hurt that badly. Or you may enjoy it. I don't know. I'm everyone's different. But did you see? Or you may enjoy it. You may go, wait, hang on, that's not me. Wait, is he having, whoa, right? Or is she? But what I will say that we do share, twin rays, twin flames, is that the sexual intimacy is massively healing and can actually scare the shit. In fact, having sex with your twin can actually create a runner-chaser dynamic, like right off the bat. Because the calcification from the root chakra is completely, it explodes. And you're activated again. Now you may say to me, well, that's a Kundalini awakening. We have multiple Kundalini awakenings throughout our incarnations as we wake up. Some of us are twin flame. Some of it is on our own. In our own merit, we have actually gone through a Kundalini awakening. If we did a full throttle Kundalini awakening, many of us will lose our mind because the funnel that drips information from the source would be completely open. Imagine opening your skull. And we would lose our mind. That's why some people who've done psilocybin have lost their mind. It was too much opening, too much. Most people actually do very well with it. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I don't want to scare the shit out of you. But for some people who were already vulnerable, do you understand? Who maybe didn't approach any type of medicine with reverence, right? They would have lost their... and some people have lost their minds. I'm being honest. When you read Al Huxley's Doors of Perception, you should... then you realize how the funnel of the brain opens and closes depending on what is the catalyst, whether it's plant medicine, a sexual connection with your twin, an incredible meditation, what have you, right? And so when content creators say it's this, and this, or else it's not your twin, the sad part is it's damaging people who aren't twins. It's creating runners out of people who actually believed in it. Like, when you look at Twin Flame Universe and all that debacle, and it makes people feel as if, well, that's bullshit. There's no twin flames. I just saw a twin flame being interviewed saying, well, there's no labels. It's twin flame. It's soulmate. No, it's not. It's different. See, a soulmate is not a twin flame. I'll tell you that. But it's a soul connection. So imagine... you've got a mom and dad, and triplets are born. Those are twin... okay, so you could say, okay, for the purpose of this discussion, these 3 kids born from this woman's womb, seconds from each other, in a soul level, we would have been born in the same breath. But okay, let's just go with that. And there are triplets, and they're all, let's call them twin flames. Or twin rays. Whatever their consciousness is, right? Their level of consciousness and frequency and understanding. So if they have shadows, a lot of shadows in them, we would call them twin flames. If they had overcome the shadows in them, we would call them twin flames. If they had overcome these shadows, right, we would call them twin rays, right? They're not going to go through the bullshit that many of us twin flames have gone through. Okay. Then the same mother has 3 other kids, okay? And each of them were born, a year apart. Let's just say it like that. So now there's a family of 5 kids. So there's a twin flame triad, and then there's 3 other kids, and you call them soulmates. They're soulmates. And out of those 3 kids, those twin flames or twin rays are more connected to one of the other kids because one of them is a high-level soulmate. There's a deeper connection than the other soulmate. So I'll give you an example. Out of 555 soulmates, you've got your twin flame, and you may have, depending on who you are, you may have 5 high-level soulmates, top 5. And out of the top 5 soulmates, 3 of them are either were lovers or is a lover, was your husband, wife. You may have had kids with them if you were lucky, or whatever. But in terms of meeting who you're going to meet first, sometimes, like my life path was not to be with my twin at that time. He had a lot of shit to go through, and I had a lot, and I needed a protection. Okay? My husband was my protector. He shielded me from certain things I needed so I could do the work that, I needed to do, if that makes sense. In some aspects, okay? In some aspects, my husband also, because of who he was as a person, also thrusted me into the world. So it was an interesting juggling. Whereas had I been with my twin, who was more of a wild card, let's just put it nicely, I was too fragile in some aspects of me, to have had, I wouldn't have survived it. I probably would have unalivened myself because I wasn't strong enough or confident enough, or I wouldn't have been able with the self-love to do the self-love work that it took for me to be thrust into, after 27 years of separation, to go into union with my twin. And that's when the real work began. Because everything I thought I had healed came up like, what the hell? Like skeletons rising out of the grave. Like the judgment card, right? So this idea that there's only one way to be a twin flame is absolutely a toxic message to. So this idea that there's only one way to be a twin flame is absolutely a toxic message to twin flames. And this is something Andromeda Flame and I have been talking about for months since we've met. Okay? For months. And I'm not going to say that there's only one way. Because, again, my twin, again, was 33. Again, my twin, again, was 33. Okay? Yeshua's age when he was on, when what happened to him. And I was 18. And that was it. And I don't regret it. Now the ego, when I first came into you, the regret was, I should have done when I was in my 30s, 40s, I should have done this sooner. And honestly, now I look back on it, I look at the whole panorama of my life, because I practice gratitude for all my mistakes, all my triumphs, all the losses I've had, all the gains. And now I've been able to look at the from the eagle's eye view and go, it wouldn't have worked any other way. It had to be like it was. Like literally there was. And what was interesting is my soulmate, my high-level soulmate husband, knew about my twin. He didn't know it was a twin. He knew it was a man I'd met and blah, blah, blah. And I kept talking about him. He was never jealous. He was never triggered. He was never nothing. I remember wanting to throw away the mollusks because I was so pissed off at my twin, and it was my husband who pulled them out of the trash can, knowing that this man had given him to me when I was 18. Pull them out of So as I started looking at the whole panorama of every move, I realized, and now I know for a fact, that my son, my husband, and my twin are all part of my same high-level soul group. We had a soul contract to come down at the same time and do this. In 4 past lives, my soulmate and high-level soulmate were nowhere to be seen, including my son. Nowhere to be seen. Okay? Because I had things to learn, and they were on the other side. So quite often you'll see a twin incarnate, and the other twin stays on the other side, and vice versa. They take back and forth, and then they go, okay, you think we're ready to meet again? Yeah, let's do it. And then shit like Othello happens. I'm being funny, but if you know the story of Othello, you know how badly it goes. Othello, and I think it's interesting because my guides are telling me to talk more about Othello. Othello is a story, and this is a problem with twin flames. It's a very big problem for us. Othello is a story of a man who loves his wife Desdemona. He's a Moor. He's an African Moor, and she's a beautiful Italian, whatever. I don't know what she is exact, princess, or I don't know. They fall in love. It's really love. The twin flames. And Iago, I believe his name is Iago, is jealous and spiteful. And he's a fucked up human being. He's a karmic. And he manipulates Othello to think she's cheating on him. She's not. And I urge you to look at what happens. Okay, because I'm not going to tell you the end. I want you to go and seek it out. But the problem that we have is, as twins, is we allow a lot of family members, friends, to counsel us. Can you imagine getting financial counseling from a person who's gone bankrupt? And yet this is what we do. We get counseling from someone who's, first of all, never been with a twin flame, or who's never been in a happy marriage, or who doesn't understand transcendental tantric sex, has never had great sex, and they can't possibly understand a twin flame journey. They can't, because you're talking about magic. You're talking about synchronicities. You're talking about shit that doesn't make sense. Things written about throughout the histories about true love. All twin flame stories in twin rays. All of them. And yet we share our grief to a girlfriend or a guy friend. And the guy will say, oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea. And the girlfriend will say, oh, fuck him. Leave him. Just block him. If you want to rant and rave to your friends, family, fucking do it. But don't take their advice. Unless you look at and they have a relate and you're like, holy shit, they're amazing. Like, I want that relationship. Okay, well, guess what? That kind of relationship, that kind of girlfriend and man friend is going to give you sound advice. Loving, patient advice. Doesn't that make sense? But a bitter divorced person or a bitter angry person who's never found love, who's always been jacked up or who's always been betrayed, cheated on, this, that, and the other, used for their money, whatever, is going to be jacked up and is going to give you fucked up advice. I mean, honestly. I was fortunate that I still have my Doc Holiday, one of my best girl. She loved me and my high level soulmate. Both of us. She wanted us to win. But she was fair and she understood. But she wanted us to have a beautiful marriage until death do us part. And our marriage, to be honest, lasted 33 years, to be fair. So it wasn't like we didn't, and marriages have expiration dates. Just like we have an expiration date on this planet, our marriages can have expiration dates. People always say, oh, they have a 50-year marriage. Yeah, but did they talk to each other? There's a wonderful movie I want you guys to go see. It's from it's from the 70s, late 70s. It's called Shirley Valentine. No, it's 80s. It's called Shirley Valentine. And her husband treats her like shit, and she ends up on a vacation to Greece, and she's British, and she ends up not coming back. And she becomes her woman self again. She becomes unctuous and sensuous, and she takes a lover who's a fucking playboy. But it doesn't matter because her root chakra gets healed. And at the end of the movie, her husband has his suitcase on from England, and he's coming to meet his wife to recapitulate and to save the marriage. You could call that a twin flame journey. Oh, twin flames marriage. You could call that a twin flame journey. Oh, twin flames never have sex with other people. Yeah, they do. They do. The kiss, for me, was never matched. Not by my sweet husband, not by any other lover subsequently. It was never, everything was based on that kiss. And then when he became my lover, yeah, there was not going to be another one. I agree on that one. However, when a twin flame is addicted to drugs, alcohol, whatever, they're not themselves, obviously, right? They're all over the place. Their chakras are fucking all over the place. Yeah, they're going to have sex indiscriminately. They're stoned. They're high. They're not, of course they're going to have sex. In fact, they may wake up not remembering they had an intimate moment with a stranger or a one night stand or a supposed, she's just my friend. There is no always for twin flame journeys. Remember that. And trust what you're going through. What people like me are supposed to do, which I'm a reader, psychic, hypnotherapist, all of that, right? Hypnotherapist, I do this shit, right? This is what I do. I love doing that. Is to navigate my clients to understanding their particular story, and then to make them understand how this is going to work for them in this particular incarnation, so that they can be as successful as possible with or without their twin. That's what I do. That's what we should all be doing. Do we all want you to be in union? You're damn right we do. God, that'd be awesome. Are you kidding me? But there are some twins that are so hell-bent on losing, that are so addicted to heroin or addicted to drugs of other kinds, that are addicted to jumping out of planes and doing wild things. I'm not jumping out of planes is wrong, but wild things because they want to feel so alive that they push the envelope. And it's almost like they don't want to be in there. And to be honest with you, a lot of star seeds, which are twin flames, a lot of them are twin flames. I would say most of my clients, I'd say 80% of my clients are twin flames, and 80% of them are star seeds. Star seeds feel like fish out of water here. They always have from the time they were consciously little children, from the time they were aware, holy shit, I'm a kid. I'm here. I'm 3. I'm 2. Never felt right. There was a feeling of homesickness. And for some twin flames, they are not as strong as some of you. They're not strong enough. They can't do this. And so they seek other ways to feel alive, to feel their bodies, to feel grounded. That's why meditation, working on your chakras, chanting, all of that, you think it's mundane? No, it's our survival. It's why Andromeda Flame and I talk about it again and again and again, because it is our very, very tool to survive, to stay rooted in our bodies until our expedition date comes and we get our train ticket or plane ticket and we're out of the body and we jump out and we're like, yeah, that was quite interesting. Wow. You got a meeting with your guide. Okay, well, I need to rest. I'd like to, kick my shoes off, and you got a meeting with your guide. Okay, I'll go. It's an extraordinary experience. And so this idea, this fever, by the way, everyone's going to go through the fever of desiring the twin to the point where it's a painful pain. It's very painful. Does that make sense? And there's nothing you can do about it. Does that make sense? Nothing you can do about it. Okay? If they are hell-bent on losing, you can't push them to win. They have to win. They have to want to win. Do you understand? And let me see. Let me read some of your comments. I have to go in a minute. But I wanted to jump in and listen to that. I'm good. Thank you, Kim Johnson. It's really good to see you. Straight up facts. Thank you. I met him in 2018, and I was in my 40s. Met mine last year, and I'm in my 50s. There you go. Now, okay. Good to hear you and be here, Toni. Great. Thank you, sweetie. Yesy. Ever have dreams where they are in a different body, but always the same energy, so you know who it is? Of course it is. Yes, that's Charlotte. That's exactly it. But that's not just with twins, that's with everybody. Remember the story I told about my grandmother? Look at my video on YouTube about death. Okay, look that up. And I say, my grandmother is a little 5-6-year-old with long braids, and I know immediately it's my grandmother. So it's not just a twin flame recognition. Please don't keep putting everything on the twin flame pile. We will recognize every soul. Watch where dreams may come. When Robin Williams never sees that his son is in the Cuba Gooding Jr. body, he doesn't recognize his son. But we always recognize them. It doesn't matter what body. That's why even in movies and walk-in, eventually the person says, wait, hang on, John? But John is in Jack's body. John was 70 and Jack is 40. Yeah, you recognize it. You can't help but. It's a vibrational energy that makes that body, whatever that body is, animate itself in that way, because the energy of that person, of that soul, molds the face, molds the expression. Even some of the body language will be replicated from one life to the next. Little nuanced move, micro expressions, things of that nature, if that makes sense. Crystal, okay, no, forget it. I just can't. Yeah, it was a big mistake asking for relationship advice from family members who are not twin flames. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Blair. Love that movie. Yes, it's not them. What is my home was all in. Okay. Okay, no, please. Okay, so thank you. So you got that, Charlotte. So that's what you need to understand, okay? Stop. Please stop. If a twin flame content creator is saying something, I start blocking shit. I'm like, fuck that. I don't even want this on my feed. I don't want to hear the shit. I'm going to get so angry. I'm going to leave a comment, okay? And it won't be nice, or I might message him. So don't worry, okay? I get triggered too, but I don't get triggered like you do. I get triggered because I know it's bullshit. It doesn't trigger. I know what I am. I know my twin flame. I could tell you a laundry list that would be 9 miles long of things that connected with my twin, from having sex with him, coming to get water, and having flashbacks of past lives that were just tumbling through my crown chakra like you wouldn't believe. Showing me connections, unasked. I didn't sit in meditation, go, kumbaya, I want to know what was my twin and I. No, it fucking came out of the root chakra being activated. Healing energy, things coming up. And it was insane. Writing poetry that I didn't know I was writing about him until I gave it to me. He said, you wrote about me. I went, oh shit, yes. But I wrote that 10 years before we started talking. It's about me. You see what I'm saying? Names. His best friend's name was Roy. My high level soulmate's best friend's name was Roy. They both died in a car accident. His sister's name is Gloria. My high level soulmate sister was name is Gloria. I could give you I could go on forever. Forever. Okay? That's not random shit. And when somebody sits across from you and says, oh, yeah, that's just, I guess it's a little weird, but that doesn't mean it's a twin. Really? How is that not a connection that goes across timelines? I actually remember past lives in other planets. And because my guiding systems are kind, they showed me humanoid experiences because they would be more connected. But I had my own past life as a sentient being, and I was absolutely not a human at all. I was not a reptilian. I was some kind of creature that was living on a planet with 2 moons. And I was just hanging out. But I was not a humanoid in any stretch of I did not, there's no way, right? So you might actually have downloads like that where you might say, holy fuck, I think I was a tree. Don't laugh. Maybe you were a tree. Maybe not even on this planet. And so I really, people ask, well, is my soulmate an animal? Your soulmate is a guide. Your animal soulmate, what you would call a soulmate animal, like your cat, your dog, your horse, your cow, your pig, your goat, whatever, however, are your mentors, your guides. And they're here to help you. They're here to protect you, help you, guide you, love you unconditionally. They are the teachers. They teach us unconditional love. People have beaten the shit out of animals, as you well know, and they still love their owner. It's frightening. Like, no condition. They just want you to love them and to be loved. That's it. That's all they want. And feed them, and they're good. And what's interesting is that our twin will put us through massive fuckery, betrayals, lies, whatever, depending on your twin story. Because it might not be your story. It might be that you're on the threshold of a twin ray realization, you see. It might be that you're coming out of something that was very dense and you're about to step into the threshold of twin ray, right? Because you've done massive work throughout incarnations after incarnations, and this is the last separation, and you will never incarnate again in a separation. It will never happen again. That's some of you will experience that in your lifetime. You will. Some of you sadly won't. Some of you will be in separation with your twin, in and out, back and forth, because you'll be asking the wrong, I'm going to be straight up with you, you're asking the wrong damn questions. And you're not doing your own inner massive excavation with a fine little brush, a little squirt bottle, and going rib cage by rib cage, skull by skull. Incarnation to incarnation, downloads, journaling, spending time alone with no sound in your house. What an idea. And really, really connecting, dreaming, writing down the dreams. More art, poetry, music, whatever. Science, studying quantum physics, mathematics. You might actually get downloads from doing an equation. I'm not kidding. So it's not just, art that I'm talking about. All of it is a way that the universe communicates to you. They meet us where we're at, not where they don't want, they're not going to, well, until you get to this level, then we'll give you down. No, they meet us where we are at. Whatever, however we need to be. The universe loves us divinely, unconditionally, perfectly. And when we have bad luck, as people, bad luck, it's because we're not listening to our heart. We're going against our heart. We're using the monkey mind as our, can you imagine listening to your monkey mind? If you had a stupid, mean, jealous, greedy, slovenly roommate, would you take advice from them? Yes, but you see, we have that in our head. It's called the monkey mind, and we actually listen to that shit. We actually listen to it. And we take advice. I mean, serious fucking advice. Should I buy that house? Well, it's not really what I want to do. Well, then why are you doing it? Well, because it makes sense. Well, I know it makes sense, but would it make you happy? No, it wouldn't make me happy. So why are you buying the house? Well, what do you want to do? I want to go to Peru for a year. Then go to fucking Peru. Well, it doesn't make sense. Yes, I know it doesn't make sense in 3D, but it's what you want to do. And maybe if you go to Peru, you'll get other downloads. I know there's like amazing portals over there. Not to mention, maybe you have divine appointments with other soulmates, your tribe people. Maybe you're supposed to meet people who are going to fit the puzzle that's been missing in your story that would actually put you closer to being in union with your twin than staying and buying a house in a town you don't want to live in. That's why you get bad luck, right? Because you're not listening to your heart coherence. You're not listening to what your heart is the seat of the soul. And so when you look at content creators, like for example, Cora put out what twin flames are, and everything she wrote, by the way, 3 million people read that. I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Everything she wrote was about a twin ray couple. Do you know how depressed I would have been had I listened to that and thought that that was reality for me as a twin flame? It's, as much as I know, I still had doubts, but then the universe would come up with numbers and I go, you bastards, leave me it would be his numbers, his birthdays, expiration date on my credit card, his birthday, expiration on his credit card, my birthday. Come on, guys. Come on. If I listened to these people telling me that the twin ray is the twin flame, I would have given up a long time ago. I would have said, well, it's definitely not that. Well, no shit, it isn't. What are you, walking on water? Do you know how many twin rays there are at any given time? 144. Do you know how many twin flames there are at any given time? 144,000. It's a conveyor belt. They separate. They come back together. You separate. Another couple meets. They're 18. The other one's 33. I'm talking about me. And back and forth it goes. Then one dies. Then that's over, right? That's over for that particular. Then a new couple is brought together. And it goes on. And some actually twin flames make it. They do. They come into union. They live their last maybe 20 years together. Or maybe some of them go all the way in. And they graduate in their own marriage together from twin flames. They're fighting, they're cheating, they're fucking around, they're not. And then suddenly one of them has a near-death experience and everything changes. I'm making it up, obviously, but something happens to be a catalyst. A lot of things. The word catalyst is a very interesting word to look at because it embodies many, many, many things in our lives. And we've all had massive catalysts. So when we use the word twin catalyst, I beg you, be careful because it's not the only catalyst. Okay? Some of you have never been with a high-level soulmate who made love to you. And then you meet your twin and it explodes your whole world. Okay? And so I could see that. And you're like, what do I do? Well, what do? You've been activated to awaken because the dark night of the soul was so intense. You didn't want to live anymore. You were trying to find reasons to get out of bed every day. I mean, it was almost like you were using something as a buoy and you were in the middle of the ocean and there was no ship, no one was going to save you. And one day you passed out, you slept, and you woke up and the storm was done. You were like, whoa, that was, holy fuck, what was that? And you started reading and studying all kinds. I hope not just twin flame tarot reading. And it gave you a sense of curiosity. And some of you who've gone through the dark night of the soul came out transcendental and started asking the right questions. Why am I here? When did we meet? When did our separation start? See, The ones that have just started their twin flames are only asking about the separation in this incarnation. Instead of asking, when did a fucking thing start? Because I know it wasn't this fucking lifetime. There's no way. This shit's too painful. And that's the right questions. So that's when you go to a hypnotherapist, you do that shit, you go past lives, and in the beginning, it's an excavation. You got to be patient. In the beginning, all you're getting is the mundane lives, and their twins nowhere to be seen because you need to heal certain things about you. And then as you go further down, then the nectar comes flowing out. The honey starts pouring out. And the honey, right? They just showed me they found honey in tombs with with mummies, right? So honey's still edible. So the honey comes out and it's a healing balm. And you start realizing and you start becoming more and more transcendental in this life or the next. I surrender. Everything I do is not to be my twin flame this year, next year, this life. I want it, but it's not a condition to the work and healing I do. It is not a condition. I am not going to do this only if my twin flame comes back to me. I am doing this for this life or the next life, and I trust. Does that make sense? And that's why there are books you have to read so you can actually jailbreak, hack out of this idea that all you'll ever be is whatever your name you are, Jill, John, Joseph, Daniel, whatever, right? You have to, you literally have to become transcendental in the way you look in the mirror and your face falls away and what remains is the light of your soul and you realize you've had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of incarnations on this planet, other planets, and your twin flame walked beside you. And somewhere back there lies the story of when you separated. Somewhere, it could have been in the ninth dimension, it could be in the seventh dimension. I don't know what your story is. But I know that that's how I found out when we broke up. When we fell from twin rays to twin flame, it was brought to me. Because the pain of our separation was unfucking believable. It was like trying to grab one breath after another. And the pain is so massive that when women and men wait for their twin to come back, they develop cancer. Pain, the mind, can actually create that for someone. And that's why the way I approach this as a twin flame coach / content creator / hypnotherapist / what I do, right? And I've been called a teacher. I'm not really teaching you anything you don't already know. It's just your ego's in the fucking way and it needs a swift kick in the ass. But I'll tell you that the answers are, you're looking down the wrong, alleyways. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. And I understand that. I told you, I'm not judging you. But my urgency to you as we've stepped into right in the heart of Satya Yuga and ascension is upon us and there's a massive like fucking crap. 2008 is a joke compared to this. In 2008, I never saw whole 9 blocks of tents. Literally, 1,000 people in tents and RVs. And no tent on a couch. So 2008 is a joke. It was an appetizer. So we're going through massive fucking changes. And we need to massively, as an individual and a collective, come to massive self-realization, transcendental, and understanding the power of manifestation and how the collective mindset of us has been used to manipulate the sword against us. Okay? It's a big thing. And twin flame is 1/9 of the pie. And eventually you'll circle in. It's like a clockwise motion of realizing this piece. Boom, there you are. Oh, hey, guess what? You're in union. Permanent union, not a weekend of sex. Permanent union. Okay? So if I were you, I would kind of look at some other stuff and I would look at, I haven't spoken, okay. So as I said it, I woke him. I haven't talked to my twin in 6 years, but I'm too focused on healing. There's a lot. I get you. All right, so I haven't spoken to mine in 3 years. I get it. So I'm going to go because I have to go, unfortunately. I wish I could stay longer, but I can't. And I'm going to go and, yeah. But I hope that this helps. I will bring this up on the, I'll post this, on my YouTube channel, and you can go check it out. And I wish I could read all your comments, but straight up facts here. Let me see what else. Anything here that I've missed? All right. Yeah, so we're good. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I might jump on another live soon. Can I reach out to you? Blair. Yes. I take, I what I do is if you decide that you want to do work with me, if you want to work with me, you would go on tonybarca.com, fill out an intake form. I'll send it to you right now, Blair. You go to tonybarca.com and you fill out an intake form with your phone number or WhatsApp number, and I will call you and we'll talk really briefly for like 5-10 minutes before we book a session. And my sessions for 1 hour are $108, and I'm excited. I'm excited because I love helping people find their way out of some of the mundane shit that unfortunately has been bastardizing our connection in our twin flame journey, just like they bastardized Yeshua and Mary Magdalena. And for 2,000 years, we were left ignorant of this divine, this beautiful divine couple and their love. Do you know how different this planet would have been had we known their connection and the massive respect he had for her and what a high priestess she was? Do you understand? This world would be heaven on earth. And guess what? We're about to create that together. So it's still not too late. Whatever. It's never too late. And we're about to do it now. All right, my love. Sending you much love on your journey. We'll talk to you soon.